Let's get started with our second session here. And these are our candidates for the 3rd Legislative District. There's Kathleen Schmitz Morfe, okay, and Wanda Willingham, okay. And as we said earlier, just so we go over the events again, our sponsors, again, are the Albany branch of the NAACP, the League of Women Voters of Albany County, 100 Black Men of the Capital Region, and CANA, the Council of Albany Neighborhood Association, the Capital Area Churches, Council of Churches, A Village Inc., and also the Delaware Area Neighborhood Association, and the 2nd Avenue Neighborhood Association. Before we get started with opening statements, I just want to make a couple of quick announcements. Tomorrow, there will also be a Albany County Executive meet the candidate, and that'll be held tomorrow at 7 o'clock to 8:30 here. And you'll get to meet our 2 candidates for running for county executive. In addition to that, on Thursday, September 3rd, from 6:30 to 9:15 at the VFW post number 6776, the Shea Palmer VFW post at 525 Delaware. There will be another Albany County Forum for Legislative Districts number 1, number 8, and number 9. And then 3rd, there will also be on Thursday, September 3rd, A Village is having a candidates forum, which will be moderated by the League of Women Voters. It's the 1st and 6th districts, and the sponsors are the Mansion Neighborhood Association, the Delaware Neighborhood Association, the South End and 2nd Avenue, and that's going to be held at St. John's Church on 4th Ave, and our own Nell Stokes will be there as well. Okay, let's go over our rules as we've said them in our initial meeting. The opening statements will be 5 minutes each. Answers to questions will be 2 minutes each. Closing remarks will also be 2 minutes each, and they will be timed. Our timekeepers will let you know when we have 1 minute left, 30 seconds left, and there'll be a nice red sign saying stop. We normally will choose lots to determine the order of candidates, but what I would have done in the last one is I start who's closest to my right, since we only have 2 candidates, and then we go to our furthest right to start with the opening sessions, statements rather. There will be questions from the audience that are submitted, and we will have those submitted to me before the open period, and we'll answer, have each candidate answer the same questions. The general rules, again, as follows. Campaign signs, t-shirts, or demonstrations of any kind for any candidate is not allowed in this forum. Cell phones must be turned on vibrate. Only approved media can record or photograph during the forum. Candidates can distribute the campaign literature after the closing statement, and candidates are welcome to remain after the program to meet and greet their potential voters. Okay, let's get started with our program and our opening statements. Let's start with Ms. Kathleen Schmitz Morfe for your opening statement.
Good evening. I am Kathleen Schmitz Morfe, a lifelong resident of Albany. I have been a Democratic committee member for over 20 years. Currently, I'm the president of the Shaker Park Bishopsgate Neighborhood Association. My parents are lifelong, hard-working Democrats who raised me to study and work hard and to give back to the community. My mother came to this country, she came from Ireland at the age of 17 to work as a cook in the wealthy homes in Loudonville. My father, who's currently 91, is a lifelong resident of Albany. He's from a German-Polish descent. He served in the European conflict during World War II. 2 years ago, we went down to West Point, where my father received the French medal, the French Legion of Honor medal, the same medal that the 2 Americans recently received for the shooting, the train incident over in France. My husband, one thing, currently my parents continue to live in their own home independently with our assistance. My husband Santiago and I have been blessed with 2 wonderful children who we strive to raise with the same values, to work hard, study hard, and to succeed in life. We couldn't be prouder of our college-bound children, Peter, who will be a senior at American University in Washington, and Josie, who's going to be a freshman at Siena College this coming fall. I want to tell you a story. Years ago, I used to work at the YMCA here in Albany, and I used to be a swimming instructor. There was a little boy who came, whose mother sent him to swimming lessons because he nearly drowned on a family vacation. And the mother said, "Could you please teach my son to swim? We want to go on vacation." And he nearly drowned, and I can't have that again. I said, "Sure." So I took him under my wings. He went swimming. When I had free days, when I had days off, I took him on, I took him to the Y, we went swimming. He was so excited to swim. He had showed so much potential. And he was really great, and I prepared him for the swim team. The coach wouldn't take him until he mastered his rhythmic breathing, because that's very important. So as soon as he mastered the rhythmic breathing, he was able to start swimming. And he did great. He had a lot of dedication, and his parents were behind him 100%. And because of his strong determination, he was very successful, and he had a great swim career. He swam through high school, leaving behind unbroken records. He went on to swim in college on a scholarship until an injury prevented him from swimming. Upon completing college, he came back into our community, where he now works as an electrician raising his son. I tell you these stories of my children and of my friend because as your legislator, we can work together to help our children succeed and realize their potential and reach their goals, enabling them to obtain good paying jobs and become homeowners in our community. I want to meet the needs of our community by working with the county, state, and federal officials and address the issues and problems facing our neighborhoods timely and accurately. I will be an advocate for the Albany County Land Bank in order to revitalize our blighted neighborhoods and return abandoned buildings back to the tax rolls. I support community policing to create a safer environment for our community. I will support the legislation for raising the age that our children can be incarcerated. As your county legislator, I will fight to get our community the services we need, just as I have done for decades as a neighborhood activist. One thing, I will not use my office for my own personal gain or that of my family. I cannot do this alone. In order to promote diversity and equality in our community, I need your vote. Please vote Thursday, September 10th from 12 to 9. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Willingham, you have 5 minutes.
Good evening, everyone. I have 5 whole minutes. I decided that I was going to stand up here and not give you an obituary of myself, because that's what we generally do when somebody asks us to stand up and talk about ourselves. But what I will tell you is this. I'm before you tonight to talk about the 3rd Legislative District and what it means to me. I am a wife, I'm a mother, I'm a grandmother, and I am a great-grandmother. As the years have rolled by, with my growing up, not only in the city of Albany, but in the South End as well as Arbor Hill, and now living in North Albany, that demonstrates to you that I have a grasp of what this community looks like. The 3rd Legislative District does cover North Albany. It also covers parts of West Hill. It covers Capitol Woods. It covers the new Livingston School apartments. It covers Beverly Avenue, Pennsylvania Avenue, McArdle Avenue, Thornton Street. And it covers the north side of Livingston Avenue all the way up to Ontario Street, and going straight up from there on the also the north side of 3rd Street, all the way up to the city line where we meet Colony at Little Anthony's Pizza. On the other end, where North Albany is, we go all the way to the Menands line. Our community is a very diversified community. As I have walked the streets, you can get a snapshot of what we look like. And what we look like is this. We look like Hispanics. We look like people who come from Ecuador. We look like people who come from the Dominican Republic. We look like people who come from Sudan. We look like people who come from Africa. We look like people who come from Ghana. We look like people who come from Kenya. We look like people who come from Puerto Rico. We look like people who come from Mexico. We are a very diversified community. As we have gone through these past 4 years with the lawsuit in regards to redistricting, it was a very hard battle. I took some big hits from it, but guess what? It was well worth it, because now we do know, just as I was told in the beginning, in the end, they will know that you were right. And what was I right about? That there were enough people of color in the South End to give us a new and majority-minority district, which is what we wound up with. So now as we move into this race right now on 5 majority-minority districts, I want to tell you some of the things that are driving me now. I have 2 Puerto Rican grandchildren myself, and I realize that the way I represent people has to change. I have to recognize that we are a varied people. My grandson, who is 12 years old, has decided and told me, "Grandma, I want to identify as a Puerto Rican, and one day I would like to go to see what my country looks like that my other grandmother and my father came from." And that tells me we have to change the way in which we represent the people who live amongst us. Jobs is a huge issue in our community. Every other door I knocked on, that's what people are talking about. The availability of good jobs in Albany County is the primary answer, I believe, to keeping young people in Albany County and providing families with the ability to live healthy, productive lives. We also have issues that confront our seniors that we must do something about. People want to age in their homes. That is what they want to do. So we have to be able to provide the services that we are mandated to provide. We also know that we are in desperate need of youth programs. As I walk the streets, people have not only complained, but they've also said to me, we need some good programming for our young people. People also talk about their access to county services, their property taxes, the nursing home, and public safety. So I look forward to this forum tonight, and I want to thank the NAACP and the League of Women Voters for having, and I also do believe a Village for having us here tonight. Thank you.
Well, let's start with the first question. And thank you very much, both of you, for your opening statements. The first question, and we'll ask Ms. Willingham to start us off. You mentioned jobs, and the question says that jobs are the #1 issue in our district. What will you do about it?
One of the barriers to employment in our community is the fact that we have people who have been to prison. And with that comes a felony history. Also with that comes a barrier to employment. We need to do something about that question that is on those job applications. And many of us know what that question is. And it says, have you ever been convicted of a crime? That is a barrier to employment for many people. Albany County also has that question on their application, and they do use it to keep people from being employed. We need to do something about that. In addition to that, we also have a low graduation rate. We know that our children are graduating at a rate below 50%. They're coming out, they have no high school diplomas. So we need to be able to collaborate with existing employers and future employers to let them know that there is indeed an employment group here and employees who are available for work. And in that collaboration, we need to take a look at taking some of the county services, which we utilize, especially when it comes to providing employment through several different avenues as far as job programs are concerned, to let these employers know that the county will collaborate with them. There are existing job credits that are available for employers who will hire people who may not have do not meet certain requirements. And I think that'll be the best way to go right now.
Thank you. Ms. Morfe, same question. Jobs are #1 issue in our community, and especially in your district. What will you do about it?
One thing I would like to do is to get some more apprenticeships. Work with the unions, see what we can do to have people come in and have apprenticeships showing kids how to be plumbers, electricians, something that's marketable. The Job Corps, get some more of our kids down to the Job Corps down in Selkirk. Get them there's plenty of openings. I understand there's a lot of openings. Get the kids down there. Just get the kids, have forums like this with job fairs, teach people marketable skills.
Thank you. Guess we'll start our second question with you first, Ms. Smith-Morfe. The question is, how can you ensure being an independent voice for your constituents? Okay. Sure. The question is, how can you ensure being an independent voice for your constituents?
I can talk to my constituents and help them find out what their needs and issues are, and I can help them address the situation.
All right. And same question for you, Ms. Willingham. How can you ensure being an independent voice for your constituents?
I have to say, right now, I am retired, but not retired from public service. Because I am retired, I have the ability, #1, to be a full-time representative to the people. I do not rely on anyone for my income. So I also have the ability not to have to go to, whether it's my majority leader, whether it's the county exec, or any of those other influences that many of our representatives have to deal with. All of my children work. They have their own jobs. I do not have to rely on anyone giving them a job. I also believe that right now my leadership skills have been refined with my years in public life, and I can do the things that I need to do for my community without looking to someone else as a payoff or involve myself in situations like that that would keep me from representing my people at the best possible level.
Thank you. This question will start with Ms. Willingham. What are the most critical issues you think the county legislature will face this year?
I believe the nursing home has become a huge issue over the past several years. And as I walked throughout the communities that I was in, that's all people talked about, was our ability to take care of our seniors and the way in which we are doing it. And it bothers a great deal of people. Also, property taxes was another issue that I believe still confronts us. As I moved from Bishop Gates to North Albany, everywhere I went, Beverly Avenue, Pennsylvania Avenue, people talked about their property taxes. Those are things that, in addition to public safety, I also believe that people are concerned about the way in which the county addresses our access to county services. Many people have been complaining to me about how they are served when they go to the Department of Social Services. In addition to that, we appear not to have a handle on the way in which we should address homelessness, foster care. I know I've mentioned a lot of things, but at the same time, these are things that come up almost every day in the communities in which we live. So we cannot just focus on one particular issue. We have to realize that there are a myriad of issues that we will continue to be confronted with and have to be prepared to address.
And Ms. Schmitz-Morfe, same question. What do you consider or think are the most important issues the county legislatures will face this year?
Okay. Some things I think that the county legislature is going to face this year is the raising the age situation, as we're one of the only states that still has not joined suit. That's one issue. Another issue is also the senior service situation, as we live in an aging population, and a lot of our seniors do want to age in their homes, and they need to be aware of all the services that are out there. One door I knocked on recently, the woman needed groceries. She didn't even know that Price Chopper or ShopRite delivered groceries, and we just need to talk to our seniors. We need to send them mailings. We need to let them know what's available to them. So therefore, and also another big issue was with housing, affordable housing in the area.
Thank you. Okay, we'll start the next questioning with you, Ms. Schmitz-Morfe. The question is, how do you believe the Albany County Land Bank is securing your community? Is there room for change or community involvement?
I believe we can have a lot of community involvement with the land bank. We need to revitalize our neighborhoods. We need to get in there and revitalize the abandoned buildings and put them back on the tax rolls.
Thank you. And Ms. Willingham, same question. How do you believe the Albany County Land Bank is serving your community? Is there room for change or community involvement?
I believe that there's definitely room for change. I think a lot of people had felt that the land bank was going to be able to provide the ability for people to be able to own their own homes. I think the fact that the land bank is renting out some properties now, I don't think that was the way in which people felt that the land bank was supposed to be used, and I believe it's improper use of the land bank and what it was devised for. I believe the land bank should continue to look at ways in which we can get people and the requirements for owning that property and also ways in which people are going to be eligible to have access to resources to rehabilitate some of those properties, so that it would be something that some of those buildings would be something that they would want to have. We don't want to make it overly expensive so they can't afford to buy a home or to purchase a home from the land bank, which was supposed to be there in the first place, to make it more easily attainable for people to own property.
As you notice, we've been moving along pretty quickly with our questions, and I haven't seen any of the stop signs come up as of yet. Okay, but our next question will be started for Ms. Willingham. And the question is, how would you make our parks and our playgrounds a safe haven for our children?
Years, I have had the opportunity to work at certain parks in the summer. And one of the best ways to make a park a safe haven for young people is, number one, they have to believe that there are ground rules that are set. All children believe in ground rules. I believe that public safety is a huge issue when it comes to cooperating with police, with cooperating with the community and the people in which that park serves. The community in which that park resides in belongs to the people which live there. The people in that community and that neighborhood also have to buy into keeping that park safe. One of the main reasons why we have lost a lot as far as safety and our children moving from all over the city and getting into trouble is we got rid of neighborhood parks. Our neighborhood parks need to be cleaned up. Neighborhood parks need to be made available to the people that live there. The people in the community need to sign on to keep it safe, and the community policing that goes on hand in hand, collaboration, would make our parks safe for our children.
Thank you. And Ms. Morfe, same question. How would you make our parks and playgrounds a safe haven for our children?
I believe in order to make our parks and playgrounds a safe haven for our children, we need to set rules. We need to set hours. We need to have community policing available. We need to have the neighborhoods involved. We need to have rules. We need to have the children, if they don't behave, they have to leave. We have to have some sort of policies so it makes it safe for everybody. We need to have like some kind of moderators or somebody there just to make sure everything is safe. So for the little kids, so make it age appropriate. If there's swings, make sure it's age appropriate and not the big kids pushing the little kids off the swings. Let's make it a playground where kids can go and have fun and not worry about getting killed. So it's safe.
Thank you. Well, let's start with the next question, and let's start with Ms. Schmitz Morfe. What do you believe in the meaning of the oath of office that you swear to? That's the question.
Honesty and integrity. I swear for honesty and integrity and to do the best job that I can.
And Ms. Willingham, same question. What do you believe in the meaning of the oath of office that you swear to?
I believe that oath that you take demands that we remember that we owe the people that we represent something, but not just something, that we owe them a lot. It's also a reminder of what we have decided to do to represent people, and that we owe the people an honest I don't want to say an honest day's work, but what I want to say is this, that they should come first. We won't always have the same ideas. We won't always have the same perceptions of the laws that will come before us, but it is the people that come first. And I believe that oath should always represent what I have said when I stand before the people, to let them know I'm going to do the best job that I can, that I believe in what I am doing and the people that I am doing it for.
Okay, our next question will start with Ms. Willingham. The question reads, the district you hope to represent is a minority/majority district. Can you tell us the significance of that designation and how it came to be? And why are you the best candidate to represent the district? Okay, I'll read it back again. It says, the district you hope to represent is a minority-majority district. Can you tell us the significance of this designation and how it came to be? And why are you the best candidate to represent the district?
A majority-minority district. Every 10 years, there is a census. After the census, there is a process that is called redistricting. And what happens is people move. They count people in the census. They count how many African Americans there are. They count how many whites there are. They count how many Hispanics there are. They count how many other races there are, whether we're mixed. They also decide for us or let us know where we are. We also know that people move. And because people move, that means that our numbers change. On this side of the room in the year 2000, there were, let's say, 1,000 African Americans, 500 Caucasians, 10 Native Americans. Over here, there were 5 Native Americans, 5,000 whites. In the year 2010, those numbers flipped, just as it did as far as, let's say, the Livingston School. In the year 2000, the Livingston School was a school. Now, in 2005, we have almost 200 people living in that building, which means the lines now have changed. And they've changed to the degree where now we realize that the next time the lines are redrawn, those numbers will change. The number of minorities will change too. And it's block by block. And I have to say this, you can't just answer this question in 2 minutes. It's very difficult.
Thank you for adhering to the 2 minutes. Okay, Ms. Schmitz-Morfe, the same question, and this will be the last response of our questions from the floor. The question again is, the district you hope to represent is a minority/majority district. Can you tell us the significance of the designation and how it came to be? And why are you the best candidate to represent the district?
The District 3 was recently, the lines were recently redrawn. That's what caused this additional district you just explained. The population in Albany has changed. That's why the lines have been redrawn. And I believe that I am qualified for this job. And it's a minority majority, and it doesn't matter the color of your skin, who can run for under the minority majority, who can rule, who can be in charge of the legislature in this district. It's as long as you have a heart and you're willing to meet the needs of the people, that's who's best for the job.
Okay, it's now time for our closing remarks. And as we did in the last meeting, we'll start with the person closest to me on my right. Ms. Schmitz Morfe, the closing remarks. You have 2 minutes.
Thank you, everybody, for coming out tonight. In closing, once again, I want to thank everybody for coming and listening to us. This is a new experience for me. It's been a new journey for me, and I've been enjoying walking door to door, talking to everybody, finding out what their issues are and how I can help them. I just want to reiterate that as your county legislator, I will fight to get our community the services that we need. I want to advocate for essential services for our seniors, to help them stay in their homes and be able to enjoy their own surroundings and as they're aging. I want to hear from you. My eyes and my ears. I want you to be my eyes and my ears in the community. I want to know what's going on. If you have any issues, I want to know about them. If you have any problems or issues or concerns, one way or another, we will find a solution to your needs. But most importantly, I want to bring back integrity and honesty to public service. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Schmitz Morris and Ms. Willingham. I bring to you our public, our candidates for the 3rd Legislative District for Albany County Legislature. Oh, I'm sorry. Okay, my mistake. My mistake. I take the, that's right. Yes. I'm looking at the clock and I didn't give Ms. Willingham her due.
We didn't forget.
My bad.
That's okay. I would like to say this. First of all, I want to thank you all for taking the time to come out tonight. But it's one thing that I believe very strongly in, and I believe that the voters should choose their representatives rather than the representatives choosing them. Redistricting, it occurs every 10 years, but 4 years ago, we had something taken from us that it took us 4 years to fight to get back. When you group people into districts and you say, well, what is the purpose of redistricting? It has to do with this. It has to do with the fact that we realize that the lines not only change, but in order for us to have people who can represent our interests, we have to ensure that the people that go into office have the ability to be elected into that office. When you say that race doesn't matter, and yes, I'm going to go there, yes, it does. And I'm going to tell you why. Race is a factor in many things that affect our lives. It affects whether you go to prison and how long you go to prison. I want some of you to just think about the young man, 17 years old. He was just sent to prison for 9 years for stealing a pair of sneakers. Now, I know a lot of you may not want to talk about race, but you know, I can't do anything about that because of what we have. It confronts us every single day in our community. And unless we face these issues head on and realize that Black lives matter, but not just Black lives, all lives matter. But that means we all have to take this together and to do something about it. So we can't hide behind redistricting and what it has done to address discrimination, but realize that we must all come together. We're all here. We're all black. We're white. We're Hispanic. We're African Americans. And I stand before you tonight to let you know I'm the best representative. I believe that the skills that I've acquired down through the years will enable me to be even a better representative. I thank you for your time tonight. Thank you.
And the key phrase is that we must vote. People died so we could vote. Okay. Our two candidates, Ms. Kathleen Schmitz Morfe. And Ms. Wanda Willingham.